Hello everyone. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the different types of constraints under the topic relational database management system. So in this video, we are going to talk about what is a constraint is and what is the different types of constraints and the various examples of the different types of constraints. So now let me see what is a constraint is. Constraint in SQL, that is structured query language, it is used to specify rules for data in a table. Suppose if you are going to store a large amount of data, so there should be some form of condition that has to be imposed on your data so that the data will be secured from the outside users. So your constraint will specify a set of rules for your data. So next, constraints are used to limit the type of data that has go into a table. So suppose if you are storing a large amount of data, so if you are setting some sort of conditions that is constraints, so you can able to limit the type and amount of data that you can insert into your table. So this obviously ensures the accuracy and reliability of your data in that particular table. So next, if there is any violation between the constraint and the data action, so the action will be aborted automatically. Suppose if any data breach or security issues has been occurred on that particular data, so it will be that action will be terminated automatically. So the constraints can be defined either column level or it can be a table level constraint. So the column level constraint, it can apply to your columns, whereas the table level constraint, it applies to your whole table. So now let me discuss the different types of constraints. So there are 5 to 6 types of constraints. The very first one, it is not null, which ensures that a column cannot have null value. So say for example, if you are going to define a column in your table and if you want that column should not contains any empty values, that is there should be some value uh, permanently for that column or not permanently, there should be some value for that column. So you want to set that particular column as not null, which ensures it cannot have any empty values for that column. So the second type of constraint, it is unique, which ensures all the values in a particular column which is defined as unique will be different. That is, there should not be same or repeated values for that particular column. So the third constraint and the most important constraint for an SQL table is the primary key, which is a combination of not null and unique constraint, which defines an unique value for your column, and it should not and it will not allow any null values. That is, it should have unique values as well as it will not accept any null values. So the fourth type of constraint, it is foreign key, which uniquely identifies a row or a record in a table. So it can use it to identify a row or a record which is situated in another table. So obviously primary key and foreign key will be coming as a combination. So a particular column will be called as a primary key when it is created for the first time, and if the same column, if it has been created in some other table, that column will be used as a referenced key column, which we can term it as foreign key. So the next type of constraint, it is the check constraint, which is used to ensure that all the values in a column satisfies an particular condition. So whatever condition you are imposing for that column, it should ensure that thing should happen. So say for example, if I am going to declare a mark column and if I want the mark column to accept values which is greater than 0, so and if you are defining a value which is less than 0, so that particular column, it will not accept value if it is enabled with check constraint. So the last type of constraint, it is default constraint, which is set as a default value for a particular column. So when you don't want to specify any particular value. Suppose say for example, if I want to assign the country as India to all the data, all the records in my table, so I can set that particular column as default value to India. So this will enable the user that the fixed value for the country will be India. So no need to enter value for that column. So that is the use of this default constraint. So now let me look into one by one. So the first type, it is not null constraint, which defines a column which does not hold any empty values. So the not null constraint enforces a column to not, it will not accept null values. So this enforces a field to always contain some value. So what does it does means, so a column should always contain some value and it should not be empty. So here, how I can add my not null constraint is, I have given an example here. It is create table persons. So in that I am having 4 different columns. It is ID, so then last name, first name and age. So here ID column is set as not null, last name column and first name column also set as not null, which means so these 3 columns, it will not accept any null values. So how I can add constraints with the help of the alter table statement. So here alter table is nothing but, so once if I have defined a table and if I want to make any changes to my table, I can use this alter table statement query. So with this alter table statement, I can able to add not null constraint also. So say for example, here I have created a table called persons already and I forget to add not null constraint for the column age. So how I can able to modify my table is, I want to use the query as alter table persons. So in that I want to use the keyword called modify. So what is the column I am going to modify? I want to give the name of the column. So then what is the data type for that? And then followed by the not null constraint. So the next second type of constraint, it is unique constraint. So as we have discussed already, so unique constraint, it ensures all the values in a column are different. That is, you cannot insert same value for more than one record, right? So both the unique and primary key constraints provide a guarantee for uniqueness for a column or a set of columns. So it will obviously, that is both the unique key constraint and the primary key constraint, it will ensure you can have different set of values for your columns. So you cannot, it means you cannot able to repeat the value for the same column. So this will be applicable to the IDs such as roll numbers, so then employee ID, bank account number. So for all those types of data, so the value will be unique. So however, you can have many unique constraints per table, but only one primary key constraint per table. So you can have any number of unique key constraints, but the primary key constraint should be only one. So how I can add my unique key constraint. So here I am creating a table called person. In that ID is my not null constraint. So then last name also I am setting it as not null. For first name I didn't have any constraint. So then for age column also I didn't have any constraint. So at last I am defining a constraint called unique, right? So unique key constraint. So here I have created the constraint at the table level. So if I am mentioning the name of the constraint or if I am defining the constraint at the column itself, at the column definition itself, so that is called as column level, which is applicable only to that particular column. So here I have used a table level constraint, which is nothing but I am going to add constraint for more than one column. So that is for ID column and as well as my last name column. So for both the columns, I'm adding the unique key constraint. So that is why this constraint, that since I have created at the table level means after the completion of my column definitions, I'm adding the constraint. So this is called as table level constraint. So I can have more than one columns at a time to define at the table level. So how I can able to add my unique key constraint with the alter table statement. So the same syntax what we have discussed for our previous constraint. So here it is alter table. So what is the table I am going to alter? So then add is the keyword. So then unique, the name of the constraint followed by, so for which column I am going to add the constraint. So the third type, it is the primary key constraint, which uniquely defines any record in a table. Uniquely identifies is nothing but, say for example, if it is a student table, you can set your roll number as the primary key, since the roll number will not be same for more than one student. So if you are going to create a table for an employee, so your employee ID will not be the same for more than one employee. So similarly, wherever you will be using a column as an identification, so that column I can set it as a primary key column and I can define the primary key constraint. So here primary key must contain unique values and it should not have any null values. So remember, a table can have only one primary key and it can have any number of not null constraints. So here, this is the syntax how I can able to add primary key to my column. So here it is create table, the name of the table. So then I'll be listing the columns, whether it is not null or null. And at the table level, I'm defining the constraint as constraint keyword is mandatory. So here I can give any name for my constraint. So here it is optional. If you need, you can define some name for your constraint, or else the system will automatically generate some name for your constraint. So then primary key is the name of the constraint I'm going to add. For what column I'm going to add the constraint. So here I can have only one column. So primary key of what is the column I'm going to add as the primary key. So here this is an example. So here I'm going to create a table called test2. In that I'm having a column called ID which takes the data type number. So then name column, it is of varchar to type. So then prime constraint test2 underscore pk is my name of the constraint. So then primary key, for which column I'm adding the primary key. So for that column name I want to list it here. So here this is a table level constraint. So why I am calling this as a table level constraint is, so I have added the constraint at the end of the column definition. So I can also add constraint using alter table statement, right? So the same syntax, that is alter table. What is the name of the table? So then add constraint is the keyword. What is the name of the constraint? So then what is the type of constraint you are going to add, followed by for which column you are going to add the primary key. So here it is the ID column. I'm going to add the primary key. So I'm listing it as ID. So similarly, if I have added any constraints, I can able to drop the constraint also. So how I can able to drop my constraint is, it is alter table, table name. So then followed by, instead of add, I want to give it as drop. So then drop, constraint is the keyword. So you can use the constraint name. So constraint name, if you have given constraint name, you can use that constraint name, or else system will generate the constraint name automatically and you can take it from there. So apart from dropping a constraint, I can able to disable and enable a particular constraint. So instead of dropping a constraint, so what I can do is I can disable the constraint for a particular amount of time. And if there is a need for my constraint, so I can able to enable my constraint also. So for that, I can do it, that disable and enable option, with the help of the alter table statement itself. So the keyword what I want to use is, it is the disable keyword. Disable, if I want to disable the constraint, followed by constraint keyword. So then what is the name of the constraint? So next one, it is the enable keyword. If you have disabled any constraint and if you want to enable later, so you can add it with enable constraint. So then what is the name of the constraint? So the next, the fourth type, it is the foreign key constraint. So as I have told you already, so it is used to link any two tables. That is, if you are setting a primary key in the first table, and if the same column, if it is defined in the second table, so obviously the second table's column will be called as the foreign key constraint, which is used to refer, which will usually refer the first table, and it can able to combine two different tables and take the information. So foreign key is a field or a group of fields, that is a collection of fields in one table that refers to as primary key in the other table. So the table containing the foreign key is called as the child table, and the table which holds the primary key, that is the candidate key, is called as the parent table. So now you are having two different tables, it is persons and table. Now how we are going to add the primary key constraint and foreign key constraint, let me see. So here, this is the two tables. I'm having person ID, last name, first name, and age. It is the person's table, which consists of these four columns. It is person ID, last name, first name, and age. And the second table, it is my orders table, which consists of order ID, so then order number and the person ID. So the common column in both the tables, it is the person ID. So here the person ID it is called as the primary key, and here the person ID it is called as the foreign key. So whenever a column is created for the first time and that column stores the unique values means, so that column I can call it as the primary key column. And if the same column, if it has been defined in some other table to club the two different tables, so that column that has been defined in the second table, I can call it as the foreign key. So if a column is defined as a primary key in one table and foreign key in another table, I can able to combine data from both the tables and I can able to take a report out of it. So here it is the explanation of that. So the person ID column in the persons table is the primary key, whereas the person ID column in the orders table, it is the foreign key. So how I can able to create my foreign key. So here I am creating the table called orders. So since I have created the table persons, so I am going to create the table orders which contains my foreign key. So here order ID I am setting it as not null, order number I am setting it as not null, and person ID simply I am giving it as integer. So then primary key I am setting it as order ID. So then I'm adding a foreign key constraint here. So how it is added is constraint is the name of the keyword followed by what is the name of the constraint, that is fk underscore person order, and I want to give what is the type of constraint I am going to add, that is foreign key. So for which column I am going to add the foreign key, that is called as person ID, and references is the keyword which is used to refer the column which is present in another table. So here since this column is called as the foreign key column in the present table, and this column it wants to refer some other column, so that column is available in the persons table and in the name person ID. So this is the syntax of creating a foreign key. So again I'll repeat, it is constraint. So then foreign key underscore person order is the name of the foreign key. So then what is the type of key I'm going to add? It is foreign key. So for which column I'm adding the foreign key? So then references is the keyword which refers to which table this column is going to refer. So this is going to refer the column person ID in the persons table. So this is how you'll be adding the foreign key constraint. So how I can use my foreign key constraint with the help of alter table statement. Suppose if I have missed my foreign key while creating my table, I can able to add it with the help of the alter table statement. So here it is alter table. What is the name of the table I am going to alter? It is orders. So similarly, you want to use the add keyword. So then what is the constraint I am going to add? It is the foreign key. So then for which column I am going to add the constraint? It is the person ID. So then I want to use references. So again, what is the table I am going to, for which table from which table I am going to refer. So then, and which column I am going to refer. So we want to use the same information. So the next thing is how to drop a foreign key constraint. So how we have dropped the primary key constraint, or how we have dropped other constraints. So in the same way, I can able to drop my constraint here also. It is done with the help of your alter table statement, which is alter table orders. So then drop is the keyword. So then what is the constraint I am going to drop. So then what is the name of the constraint I am going to drop. So similarly, you can disable and enable your constraints here also, as we have discussed in our previous slides. So the next type of constraint, it is the check constraint, which is used to limit the value range that can be placed in a column. So I'll give you an example here. Suppose, say for example, if you are going to enter the marks of a student mark cannot be less than 0 or it cannot be greater than 100. So I can able to limit my column with the help of this check constraint. It is, if you define a check constraint on a single column, it allows only certain values for that column. If you define a check constraint on a table, it can limit the values in certain columns based on the values in another columns of the rows. So how I can create my check constraint? So see here, so the same create table statement. So I am creating a table called person. In that ID, it holds the not null constraint. Last name, it holds the not null constraint. And first name column, it doesn't have any constraint. Age also, age is having a constraint of type check. So what I am doing here is I'm giving it as check age greater than or equal to 18, which means, so this age column, it will accept values which is greater than or equal to 18. And you can combine multiple conditions also here, and you can use it as ampersand ampersand and age is less than or equal to 50. So it will take only the values between 18 and 50. So the next thing, it is SQL check on alter table. So how I can able to add my check constraint with the help of the alter table statement. It is alter table, the name of the table where I am going to alter. So then add keyword followed by the name of the constraint what I am going to add, it is check. So then followed by on which column I am going to add the check constraint. So similarly, I can drop my constraint with the help of the drop constraint keyword. So the last type of constraint, it is the default constraint, so which is used to add default values to your columns. So as we have discussed already, so see here, this example shows you how to add default values. So same stories what we have discussed, all the columns are defined, and the last column, it is city, where care default, it accepts only the value Coimbatore. Suppose if you are going to collect the person's data, which whoever belongs to Coimbatore, or the data is going to be filled by the persons belonging to Coimbatore, you can set the value for your city column as default value, and it is set as Coimbatore. So you can do it with the alter statement also. If you have forget to add while creating your table, you can do it with your alter table statement also. So this is done with the help of your alter table statement, and you can able to drop your default constraint also with the help of the drop constraint. So in a nutshell, we have gone through the different types of constraints, and how to apply the different types of constraints, and what are all the advantages of using a constraint, what are all the advantages of using the different types of constraints, and its various usages. So thank you all. Thank you for watching this video.